Hey guys, today we are going to talk about 5 reasons why your family of origin will never ever apologize for scapegoating you. Dysfunctional family systems are closed systems that they resist integrating information that threatens this accepted narcissistic family narrative, and family members who have been scapegoated, you will rarely accept responsibility for their actions despite how egregious their mistreatment of you has been. So I am going to list 5 reasons why you are unlikely to ever receive an apology from your family of origin for their shameful treatment of you. A family that is dominated by a dysfunctional or narcissistic parent or parents may result in its members living under a set of unspoken rules, which benefit the parent or parents at the expense of their children's well-being. So all of the research that I have conducted on what I call family scapegoating abuse, or FSA, suggests that dysfunctional families that scapegoat are also governed by a specific set of rules. And in this video, I will also list those rules that I have identified as being evident in families that scapegoat one of their own. So 10 rules that the scapegoating family lives by. And in the family that scapegoats one of their own, there is abuse and a simultaneous denial of the abuse, or the FSA. And this system of denial, it is made possible by unspoken rules that govern family members. And these are rules that may have been passed down generations, like a toxic poisonous recipe. I suggest that you take a moment after listening to this and listening to each rule and ask yourself if this has happened or is happening to you inside your family of origin. So, number 1, you must never ever contest or challenge the power-holding parents' view of reality and their view of you, no matter how false or damaging it is. And family systems that have a scapegoat are closed systems that avoid new information or new input from outsiders, and information that might jeopardize the position of the dysfunctional or narcissistic scapegoating parent at the established family or system homeostasis. You, as the family scapegoat, or however you would like to put it, you must earn the right to be loved by your own parents and your family members. And for a good many of you listening to this, that day has never come. And my research on family scapegoating revealed that FSA adult survivors typically believe that something must be wrong with them for their family of origin to treat them with such contempt and hostility. And I've heard, this is my story too, my entire family treats me this way, and it must be something about me that causes them to do this to me. And it is a refrain that I often hear and have heard come out of my own mouth as well. And sadly, many scapegoated adult survivors are still attempting to adjust or fix themselves so as to earn their family's love. And this is a very particular case if a parent is a malignant narcissist. You must always submit and defer to the family power holder's view of your reality and all events. And this is typical. The typical scapegoated child learns to survive the rejecting and the shaming and the blaming environment that they have found themselves within by adapting to their environment in the best way that they know how. And part of this adaptation will include their adopting the views of the family power holder, including the scapegoat narrative, confirming that they are fundamentally flawed and bad. You must never contest the unjust and at times completely irrational behaviors directed towards you within your family system, no matter how harmful and no matter how abusive, as the scapegoated child or adult child is punished in a variety of ways. If they attempt to defend themselves or to put a stop to their own maltreatment, the punishment becomes even worse, and such punishment may involve one or more of the family members participating in a smear campaign, whereby the child and adult child is defamed to others within and outside of the family. And other forms of punishment include being shunned by family, being excluded from family events being removed from will and trust. And this is particularly the case if the scapegoated children or FSA adult survivors who were sexually molested or physically assaulted by a parent or a sibling in childhood. As the scapegoated family empath, you must carry all of this unrecognized intergenerational trauma for your family, along with the associated toxic shame. Scapegoating abuse, through all of the research that I have done, it has revealed that it is often the empath child who becomes the target of family scapegoating dynamics via projective identification processes. And this unconscious toxic shame associated with intergenerational trauma is deposited onto the emotionally sensitive and attuned child, adding to their overall sense that something must be wrong with them or that they are fundamentally defective. And the scapegoated child will also carry personalized shame as the identified patient in the family. You cannot complain whenever you are treated differently than other members of your family, especially in regard to the preferential treatment enjoyed by any golden child sibling. And because a narcissistic parent's psyche is the split and non-integrated type, they will project the positive qualities that they imagine they themselves possess onto one child, and negative qualities, which are really truly their own in reality, their disowned parts, onto the scapegoated child. And although neither child is a whole person to the narcissistic parent, the golden child benefits from receiving special privileges and attention that the scapegoated child is purposely denied. You must never, ever share your truth, because it gravely threatens the narrative that is governing the family system and may be highly inconvenient to those in your family who scapegoat you. And this includes your contesting any false stories or beliefs that were promoted by any individual family member. And as the family scapegoat, you will find that if you attempt to defend yourself from unfair accusations and attacks, the abuse only gets worse. It escalates. And specifically, my research on this has indicated that FSA adult survivors who attempted to defend themselves or correct an erroneous accounting of events were deemed crazy or a liar by one or more family members. So if this has happened to you, you are by no means alone. And please leave your stories in the comments below. You have to stuff your feelings down at all times. And if your feelings are perceived as being negative by one of the family power holders, and feelings can be very threatening to a dysfunctional family system that scapegoats, because this is the parent, they need to take precedence over the feeling of their feelings of their children, especially if one or both parents are narcissists, whether they're overt or covert. And to acknowledge your feelings would necessitate you being viewed as a full human being. And there is no room for this sort of emotional extravagance when a parent is self-absorbed and emotionally undeveloped. You must deny painful events, painful realities, and particularly those that are too difficult or upsetting for the rest of your family to face. And this includes never going outside of the family system for help. And you may have spent years denying the fact of your own abuse to yourself and to everyone else around you, and because this is what your dysfunctional family system demands and requires of you. And those of you who have attempted to point out the scapegoating dynamics negatively impacting you, no doubt that you discovered your insights were not well received by anybody in your family. And if you tell them that your experiences have even been validated by a therapist such as myself, they will tell you that you are not only crazy, but your therapist is crazy as well. You must tolerate poor treatment and abuse within your family to remain connected to them. This is the double bind that the FSA adult survivor finds themselves trapped within, and no human being should ever have to tolerate abuse, including invisible abuse, psycho-emotional abuse. And this is the price that you must pay to stay connected to your family of origin. I encourage you, if this really truly is the price you must pay, I encourage you to ask yourself if the price you are paying is really worth it. Did you recognize yourself or your family when listening to the listed rules? Are there rules that you would add to the list? And if so, please leave those in the comments. And like always, don't forget to hit subscribe and that bell icon so you can get future updates when I upload videos. My name is Sarah Ann Brown, and this is Narcissistic Abuse 101.